Hi, everyone. This is Christina Wong, and this is the Killing Your Number podcast, not so much a true crime podcast, but a post-crime podcast, where we look at the impact of incarceration on Asian Americans, what it's like when they finally kill their prison number and reintegrate back into society. Now, we all have had this experience maybe of coming home after a long time away and home feeling a little weird. But what is it like to come home after a 20-year prison sentence? Now, I don't know what that's like, but my co-host, Kirn Kim, does. So today we're going to talk about what Kirn's last hours in prison were like and his first days reintegrating back into society. So, Kirn, can you describe, just like paint a picture for me, what those last days in prison were like? Like, what year was it? How old were you? How are you feeling?
Well, I originally got my parole date in 2011. But the governor had the right of last refusal. So he vetoed my parole date originally. And so I had to wait another year, go through another parole process. And then in 2012, I got another parole date. I found out that the governor didn't veto my second parole grant about a week before I was actually released. So I had about a week to prepare for my coming home.
So you had 1 week notice. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And you must have been excited, or?
It was really surreal. I mean, I wasn't expecting the approval, but I kind of was. So when I finally got word that I was paroling, obviously I was sharing it with my friends on the yard and sharing it with like the prison guards and the staff who were friendly with me. And they were all happy to hear, because people don't know, but back in 2012, it was very rare for a lifer to go home, and especially a juvenile lifer.
Wow.
So I was like one of the first ever to go home. So it was like this really rare occurrence. So people
and maybe kind of hopeful, right?
It was hopeful in a way, yeah. But every year you always heard about a random lifer going home, like the one or two people, the one or two lucky bastards who managed to get out. And my goal was to be that one or two people. And lo and behold, I was.
Wow.
But later on, more people started getting out as reform started happening.
Yeah.
But at the time, I thought I was just going to be that lucky bastard who made it home.
Yeah.
And so my friends were happy for me, but it was also bittersweet because I thought I would never see them again.
Yeah.
I thought that I'm going home, but they're going to be stuck here for the rest of their life.
And you've known them for how many years?
Yeah. I mean, some people I'd known at that point for a decade, and I'd built very close friendships with them in there. And so
it's not like, oh, I can't wait to see you again. I'll come visit.
Yeah, it's literally
you really don't want to come back and visit, right?
Yeah. I mean, I thought I'd never see them again.
Yeah.
And so that was hard. And but obviously I was excited for going home.
Yeah.
And so in preparation, I started giving my stuff away. Obviously things I didn't need when I was home.
Like what stuff?
Well, it's like I gave away my radio, my CD player, and my typewriter. Yes, we had typewriter. Who the heck needs typewriters?
What year did you parole?
2012.
The 60s? Yeah.
But we didn't have computers in there. So
yeah.
And the real funny part was because I'd been locked up for so long, I had managed to acquire a collection of skin magazines,
So that's a pornographic magazine.
Yes. Which we have discussed previously. They were currency inside.
Yes. You've told me that fifth-generation photocopies of Skins magazines you can use that to get water, food, whatever you need, and
drugs, tobacco, whatever you want.
A woman's body is powerful, I guess.
Yes,
in prison.
it is. But because I'd been locked up for so long, I had originals, which was very hard to come by. And I gave all that away.
So take me to those last few hours. The exit. They don't just like boom let you out, right? It's kind of a process.
Yeah. So when you're paroling, they call you out like at 3 a.m. And this was December 17th, 2012 in San Diego. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't warm. Yeah. It was really cold. They call you out. They put you in a holding cell in the release center. And the release center, it's prison. It's a concrete box.
Yeah.
So, and they take all your clothes away. So I'm sitting there in a T-shirt and boxers in probably 60-degree weather in a concrete box. Wow. So I'm freezing my butt off. I'm cold. I'm hungry. They didn't actually release me until 9 a.m.
Wow. Okay.
So for 6 hours, I was inside that box waiting to get processed out.
And are you talking to anybody at this time? Does a guard check in with you or anything like that?
There were a number of people paroling with me.
Yeah.
This was a very unique situation because there were 2 lifers paroling that day.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And it was crazy that 1 lifer was leaving, but the fact that we had 2 lifers leaving that day, that caused a lot of hope on the yard,
Oh, wow.
So the guards were amazed, going like, "Wow, we have 2 lifers going home today. This is rare. Mm-hmm. It's unheard of." And
they're happy for you, it sounds like, right?
Yeah. I knew almost every guard that was working in the release center that day, and they were really happy for me. And so it was kind of cool that these were people who were tasked with keeping me incarcerated, and their livelihood depended on me staying inside. But yet, because they had built relationships with me, they knew me well enough to know that they were like, "Wow, hey, this is great. I'm happy for you, man."
Oh, that's great.
And so,
any parting gifts?
No. Well, so my release date came 17 days short of 20 years. So the sergeant made a joke saying that Sacramento called saying they want their full 20 years, so you have to go back for 17 days. So I didn't know this sergeant, but I knew every other guard that was in there. So I just told the sergeant, "Hey, you can tell Sacramento to kiss my ass," and he laughed it off. So it's I knew he was trying to make light of it, and I like that he had a good attitude about that. But even if he wrote me up, it's all like you can't stop my release at this point. So even if you were one of those a-hole guards, I wasn't willing to take any crap. But I kind of knew it was all done in jest. And so when it came actual time to release, they didn't have any actual release clothing. Normally, when someone paroles, they know a few months ahead of time because they have a set date. So you're allowed to get a parole package, which includes clothing. But because I had only 1 week's notice, I didn't have the opportunity to do that. So the only clothes I really had were like my sweatpants and sweatshirt that was in my property. And
your prison sweatshirt.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they were personal sweatshirts that we were allowed to buy through our prison packages.
Okay.
But they were personal, so I could take them home with me. So, but it wasn't the prison clothing.
I didn't know you had to return your prison uniform so someone else can wear it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, reuse.
Yeah, reuse. It's a very ecological thing inside.
I guess so.
But they did have some old throwaway clothing, and they offered me this really tacky black shirt, which for those listeners who watched our From Number to Name show, that was the shirt that I wore on the what was the title of the show?
Kirn Kim Knows Love.
Yes, the dating show.
I would describe this shirt as if roofies were a person.
Oh.
But it is, yes, it's that kind of that really tacky sleazeball shirt. But this is the shirt you walked out wearing.
Yeah, it was a shirt I walked out wearing.
That's how you can experience freedom, wearing the sleazeball shirt. Yeah.
And so around 9 o'clock, they loaded me into the van and took me out to my parents. My mom, obviously, she was super thrilled. As soon as they opened the door, she ran up to the van and gave me a huge bear hug, crying.
Wow.
Yeah. And then...
And your father?
My dad, he was working with the guard to just get my property out of the van and into our car. And he just seemed to want to hurry up and get the hell off the prison ground, as if worried like, oh, if they change their mind about releasing him, I want to make sure we're far away from here as soon as possible.
Oh, man.
And so, we loaded into the car and left. And the first thing that we did, obviously, my mom had brought some of my dad's clothing, so we changed out of that really tacky shirt and my prison sweats into the actual pants and like a flannel shirt.
So she hands you some clothes.
Yeah.
To wear.
And then the second thing she handed me was a brick of tofu.
A brick of tofu.
Yes.
Like refrigerated in the
Yes,
plastic tub?
in the plastic tub,
Okay.
in the water.
Okay.
And the story behind this was about a week before my release. We had known that I was going home, and my parents visited me for the last time. And my mom had asked, "What's the first thing you want to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm like, this is going to be all new for me."
Yeah.
And my dad says something in Korean really fast. And my mom's like, "No, forget that." I'm like, "What is it?" And my mom explained to me that in Korea there's a tradition that when someone's released from prison, you give them raw tofu. You know,
Really?
It's symbolic for raw tofu, meaning like remain pure and white. But secondly, in Korea, because the nutrition in prison is really poor, they want to give you something that's very nutrition dense. So tofu is like the perfect food. So someone comes home, you eat raw tofu. And my family is very traditional Korean, so I was like, hey, who are we to buck tradition? You know, why are we stopping now when we've followed Korean tradition for so long? So that's why my mom handed me this brick of tofu.
In the plastic.
In the plastic.
Which I kind of feel like is probably not how it's handed over
normally. But yeah, our family is not exactly.
Some things you get right, some things you get wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm eating the tofu, but.
Oh, in the car.
In the car.
Yeah.
But it's like I didn't know it's symbolic. You weren't supposed to actually eat the whole thing. But because I was in this holding cell for 6 hours and I was cold and I was hungry and tired, I ended up eating the entire brick of tofu.
Oh, God, with no seasoning,
nothing, because that's how hungry I was. Yeah. And then my dad has to stop for gas. So we stop at this gas station that's nearby the prison, and I get out of the car and I'm walking into the gas station for the first time. And
this is like your first time going to a gas station in 20 years.
Yeah, and in the convenience store, and everyone who's released gets $200 in gate money. So I have this envelope of cash, and I'm like, I want a coffee. So I go up to the coffee bar and I pour myself a cup of coffee and I pay for it, and it's like, wow, I just bought myself coffee.
Yeah, the agency, right?
Of
you participated in free market capitalism.
And there was all this food in there, like the little candies and the snacks. And it's like, I want to buy it, but I also knew we were going to go stop to get an actual meal. So I stopped myself from buying that, even though I was so tempted to, because I didn't have the opportunity to actually shop, in a real store. But yeah, so that was like my first time feeling cash, paying for something, and just something simple like a cup of coffee. And it was great. So then after my dad got gas, we get back in the car and we start driving some more. And remember, I had eaten that entire brick of tofu.
Yeah.
And it sat like a lead ball in my stomach. And also remember, I hadn't ridden in a car for 20 years. So I started feeling car sick. And I'm telling my dad, "Hey, Dad, can you pull over? I need to get sick. I'm not feeling good." And my mom's all like, "Can you hold it? We're almost to where we're going." And so I said, "Okay." So I kind of held it. I started getting very queasy.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I told my dad, "Dad, pull over. I can't. I'm about to throw up." Wow. So we had just pulled off the freeway to the place where we're going to, and my mom yells, "Go, run up to that railing, go throw up over there." So I run up to the railing and I just let out, and I'm like, I let out, and then my eyes are closed. I look up to take a deep breath and I open my eyes. We were in Encinitas, on the cliffs of Encinitas, and I had just thrown up over a railing over a cliff.
Look, is it the ocean, right?
The ocean, yeah.
Wow.
And
Which you haven't seen in 20 years.
I haven't seen ocean, but I also haven't dealt with heights in 20 years.
Wow.
So I'm like, I get dizzy, and then I throw up again. Just
one last
dizziness. Yeah.
Third time's a charm.
And so it's like, okay, it's like my body was telling me, get it all out of your system.
Yeah.
You're free. This is your view. And it was just, I don't know if it was one of those moments of like clarity or what, but it's, it felt great. I'm breathing the ocean air finally. It felt, I don't know if I felt good because I was free breathing ocean air, if I felt good because I just thrown up twice.
Wow.
But yeah, and so at that point, the person we were visiting was one of the prison volunteers.
This is a meal you're having with the prison volunteer?
No, so we were just having like a morning snack.
Oh, morning snack. Okay.
Yeah, so we had like tea, coffee, and muffins.
Okay.
Like a continental breakfast.
At
and
it was like at a
it
hotel?
was at his house.
Oh, okay.
So we went to visit the home of a prison volunteer.
Okay.
I'm not going to say his name because
Yeah.
this was totally illegal. He could lose his prison clearance to go in since I was on parole.
Wow.
But this was one of those situations where, it was a rarity for a lifer to go home. Oh. And I had known this volunteer for 10 years, and so he's like, absolutely, I want to see him out. Mm-hmm. So I went. I got to meet his wife for the first time, and just enjoying ourselves. In freedom and not have to worry about the guard coming in to count and supervise.
Yeah, it's like these are your first literal moments of freedom.
Absolutely, yeah. And so after, we visited for, I don't know, maybe an hour, we got back in the car and then we drove to Newport Beach. Mm. And in Newport Beach, we visited another person who actually started visiting me in juvenile hall 20 years before.
Oh, wow.
So, so we kept in contact. We'd written letters. He'd come to visit me in prison a few times. And obviously, he'd never seen me outside. So we went to, it was a hotel in Fashion Island in Newport Beach. And so we had lunch at the restaurant there. And it's great to be able to see him outside and, again.
Yeah, it must be unreal, right? You were in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Seeing people and just tell me about this. Yeah.
So obviously I'm looking at the menu and it's all like, whoa, I didn't know what to eat because I didn't have a choice. Yeah.
Choices.
And so I'm looking at the list and I'm still dealing with the queasy stomach and everything. So I didn't want to eat anything too heavy, so I kind of ignored the seafood, but I saw steak and I'm like, ooh, I want steak.
Wow.
So I get steak, and it was, again, surreal because here I am holding like a metal fork and a metal knife.
Which is contraband, yeah?
Yeah, well, obviously, no one in prison, they don't give inmates a metal knife. I mean, what are they going to do with it?
Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they let... Yeah,
no. Exactly. So, and... So that was great. I'm eating here steak lunch.
Wow.
And again, talking with another church volunteer. So after that, that lunch was about another hour or so, and then after that, my parents had planned the entire trip.
Yeah, it sounds like a very packed day of
it absolutely was because it wasn't. We were in San Diego. My family home was in Orange County, in Fullerton. So we had to go from San Diego. Then we stopped in Encinitas. Then we stopped in Newport Beach. Then everyone who paroles has to report to their parole officer within 24 hours, or else it's a violation. Oh. And the parole office was in Irvine. So rather than go straight home and come back down to Irvine the next day, my mom had called the parole agent and said, hey, can we just do the visit immediately? And they said, sure. So I stopped into the parole office and had to get parole processed. And that took about, 4 or 5 hours. Oh. Yeah.
Buzzkill.
Well, it's also, they didn't really know what to do with me. Because again, remember, I was one of the first juvenile lifers to parole. So they were kind of in uncharted territory. So they were making sure they dotted every I and crossed every T and went beyond a standard parole processing. And
And it was for civilians, like this parole, this means you're obligated to keep checking in,
Yes.
right? Okay.
So I had to check in. At that point, lifers had to check in every 2 weeks,
Okay.
one at the parole office and one at home.
Okay.
And that diminishes over time. But that first check-in was very thorough, long interview, set up like re-entry meetings. And I didn't have drug testing because substance abuse wasn't a part of my background. So, but other people might have to do that.
Yeah.
So after that was done, I go home with, my family takes me home.
This is your childhood home.
Yeah, my parents hadn't moved.
Yeah.
And one of the first things that I noticed was there was this giant palm tree in the front yard. And I asked my mom, when did you guys put that in? And she's like, what are you talking about? That's always been there. This palm tree is like 20 feet tall or something. And then I realized, wow, when I went away, that palm tree was about chest height.
Wow.
And I'd been gone for so long, that palm tree over 20 years had grown that tall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Symbolism.
Yeah. And so it's all these little signs where it's like, you've been gone a really long time, but but it's familiar.
Yeah.
And I go in, and people from our church, they had kind of prepped a meal for us.
So kind.
Yeah. And my sister was home. She took the rest of the day off of work to come home early to be there. So we had our first family meal together.
Wow. Tell me about that.
It was weird. It was nice, but it was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, even like my sister and I, we passed each other, going up the stairs, and she just looked at me, smiled, and said, "This feels so strange."
What are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are you?
We hadn't done this in so long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it was very nice having a nice family meal. I got to eat real Korean food for the first time in a long time.
Do you remember what it tasted like? Or
everything was great at that point.
Yeah.
I couldn't describe it. And so that was my first day.
So you're finally home in your childhood house.
Yeah.
You've had real food. You're seeing people outside of prison. Are you feeling free at this point?
I don't know if I was or not. I mean, I think it's like, is this a dream? Is this real? Is this really happening? But I don't know. It's so much stimuli coming in that I wasn't used to having. Prison was so regimented. It was so every day was pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So coming home, I had so much going on, so many things to see, so many things to do. I don't know if it ever really hit me.
Like you were still on a schedule when you got back, or what do you?
No, I mean, it's like there's so much to process. I don't know if I had time to even think about feeling free.
Yeah.
So the first few days, I had things I had to take care of. I had to go back and get my driver's license or my my regular ID. I had to get a Social Security card. We had to go shopping for clothing.
Oh man, what's that like?
So I got out.
Yeah. What are you wearing? Are you still wearing the douchey shirt?
No, at that point I'm wearing my dad's old clothes.
Oh,
but
wow.
Obviously here I am. I'm 36 years old wearing clothes for a 60-something-year-old, so I look like an old man. And so one of the visitors that we had was with my mom's friend who had a son who was about my age. And obviously I hadn't seen him in a long time. So he had mentioned to his mom, to tell my mom, Kirn needs to get some actual age-appropriate clothing. And I had gotten incarcerated back in the 90s where it was like super cool to wear baggy clothing and everything, And so baggy clothing's coming back. But at this time, 13 years ago, it was slim fit, skinny jeans, all that was still in fashion.
There's all this whole new fashion and like culture you need to adapt trends.
Yeah.
To learn.
And because I came home right before Christmas, we went shopping, for the after Christmas sales, and going into the malls and finding clothes, and being the stereotypical Asians that we were, finding great deals, finding stuff on clearance. Like, oh, cool, this is on sale. I got a sport coat for $12.
So So those old habits didn't go away.
No, not at all.
The bargain hunting that is inbred in
Exactly.
us as Asians was still there
Yeah,
post-prison.
absolutely.
So other than shopping for clothes, the mall, what is this mall experience like?
It was a little nerve-wracking because I was around crowds, huge crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That must be so weird.
It was. And it's like, and I had to realize, like, I can be around crowds and I don't have to worry about someone wanting to stab me or beat me up.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, but it was also because I've been programmed into thinking that way for so long.
Yeah.
It was really hard to break that habit, you know.
Or do
But
you just feel safe walking
yeah,
around?
I mean,
or-
but now I think the biggest part for especially people today, they need to like kind of be cognizant of someone might try to pickpocket me
Yeah.
or something, you know. But pickpocketing was not something that happened in prison. It was, you know, someone might brush by you and stab you for whatever reason, mistaken identity, even though I wasn't a troublemaker. So I was very paranoid, you know, walking through the mall. But maybe because in prison I worked in the mental health unit, so I was in like a very public-facing position. So I was seeing a lot of people normally. So I wasn't as nerve-wracked as some other people who didn't have that public-facing work position inside. So it wasn't as bad for me, I assume, but it was still kind of.
Yeah. So you didn't come from complete like solitary confinement isolation. You had a pretty social prison experience. It sounds like
I
which kind
was
of prepped you for this.
I had a very social position in terms of not just dealing with many other inmates, but also dealing with other staff members, psychologists, and psychiatrists. So I was able to have real conversations and real relationships other than just the prison stuff. So.
But you're in this mall. You're still freaking out a little about the
little
crowds.
bit, yeah. And then so we go to get food, and I remember seeing on TV like all these different meal options, and so we go to the food court, and again I'm overwhelmed, going like, I could have this, I could have that.
Choice.
Yeah, and I ended up having Mongolian barbecue.
Oh.
Yeah. But obviously that's like a ton of food.
Yeah.
So I eat like half. I'm full, and I like wrap up my food very neatly and nicely, and I put it down on the table. Then I reach over to do something. I don't know what it was, but in that instant, the worker the janitorial staff had taken my food and thrown it away.
Your leftovers that were
My
wrapped
leftovers,
up.
yeah.
Okay.
And so in prison, because food is a scarce commodity, you will eat out of the trash. It's just like homeless people deal with. If it's clean, if it's not exposed and contaminated, you will eat it because it's still safe.
And I think I know where this is going. So
So I go to reach for my food out of the trash can, and my mom just said, "Hey, stop. What are you doing?" And I'm all like, "It's still good. I wrapped it up neatly. It's not dirty." She's like, "No, we don't do that. What are you doing?" And so, again, it was one of those moments.
Prison habits.
Yeah. It's one of those things I had to realize this is something I need to break from my mindset. And
are there other prison habits that you find yourself shaking off in this process as you try to feel more and more free?
I think I'm diabetic, so I need to eat on a schedule. And my body had very much adjusted to eating on the schedule or prison breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And obviously when you're home, you eat at your mom's schedule.
Oh.
So my mom and I did get into a couple of fights over, hey mom, if we're going to eat at this time, you need to tell me. We can't have this, we'll be ready in an hour, I'm busy doing something. So that was a habit that I had to kind of get into a fight with my mom over. And so.
And you're diabetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know for many friends who are diabetic, they have to be very strict about what they put in their body and when.
Exactly.
And how is this now?
The temptation was so bad because I wanted to eat stuff. I wanted to eat everything, but I had to stop myself.
Wow.
Candies and chocolates that I couldn't have inside, sodas and everything, which is so good, little treats that everyone appreciates, but I couldn't do.
And prison was sort of a built-in barrier to get all the bad stuff.
Exactly.
Wow.
I mean, the prison diet wasn't exactly good, but
no, I think the prison diet is what gave you
probably
diabetes.
Yeah.
Which is another episode we'll get into. So what is that moment where you felt like you could finally leave behind the prison mindset?
I don't know if I ever left it behind. I've been told that some of the things that are good about the prison mindset is the paranoia, but not the level of paranoia where you have to worry about being stabbed every day or a riot going off. But you get situational awareness. There was that movie, The Bourne Identity, where Matt Damon's character was like, he had amnesia, but he was wondering, why is it that every time I walk into a room, I have to find 3 exits points and I have to do a threat assessment for everyone who walks in.
So you're Jason Bourne.
No, I'm not Jason Bourne.
Okay.
But I did have that threat assessment evaluation. People who didn't realize, people that I met who didn't know my background at first had told me, going, it was kind of weird because wherever we sat down at a restaurant, you always had to have your back to the wall. You always, whenever someone walked in the room, you always looked to see who was walking in the room. Wow. Whenever there was a little noise or something, you would always kind of like perk up like a dog's ear does. But these were the habits that I built inside because you never knew if you were in a room, someone walks in, you don't know if they were charging to attack someone, even if they weren't there to attack you. If they attack someone else, you don't want to get caught up in that, so you want to be able to get away from that. And so those little habits I had to slowly break. I guess the real sign where I realized, hey, you're free, was when food stopped tasting good.
Oh.
So every time I went to a restaurant, it was like I had such horrible food for so long that everything tasted good to me. And over time, slowly, I went to one restaurant and I'd ask my parents, hey, I want to go here. And they say, that place isn't that good. I'm like, I don't care. And I just, oh, this is good. What are you talking about? And then finally I had picked one restaurant and they said, that place is not good. I'm like, I don't care. Let's go. So, all right. We went. I'm like, yeah, this isn't good. Let's not come back here again.
Wow. So once you knew you could be picky.
Yes.
That's freedom.
Yeah. I mean, you don't think about something simple like that. But the fact that, my taste buds adjusted to something that actually was beyond mediocre or poor tasting food. Because in prison, survival was just about living life every day. And so that had become such a habit that even coming out here, I kind of live life for just the day. I don't think about great things in the future. I appreciate the daily grind. I appreciate even the daily stresses. I mean, the first time I got a parking ticket, I mean, it sucks, but I was thinking to myself, wow, I got a parking ticket. Wow. How many people inside would love just to be in a situation where they could get a parking ticket?
Most people are going, fuck, and you're screaming, I'm free.
Yeah. And then like the first time I got a credit card, the first time my credit card bill was over $1,000. And I was like, wow. But wow, I have $1,000 credit card bill. Wow. Not only can I spend, but I also make enough money to pay that off.
Wow. You're free.
Yeah. But in terms of feeling free, I don't know if that ever comes. You're surviving every day and you're just living your life for the day. So I don't know if I ever truly feel free, but I also have to remember it's the things I do, the things that I'm able to do are things that I wouldn't have been able to do if I wasn't free. I mean, I just came back from a trip to Las Vegas, which is great.
Yeah.
I've
so free.
I've been to Germany and Korea, and so it's really being able to travel, being able to do things that people here take for granted.
Yeah.
But remembering for the longest time, I couldn't do any of this stuff. So I don't know if I feel free, but I also have to remind myself I am free. And the stresses in life, people who don't have the incarceration history, they talk about, first world problems, appreciate what you have. Those who are formerly incarcerated, we always say free people problems. So we should appreciate the opportunity to go through these hellish situations, but it's a lot better than the situations we had to deal with being inside.
Well, Kirn, thank you for sharing your story, and we'll have to get into more coming home stories on future episodes of Killing Your Number. This episode of Killing Your Number featured your co-host, me, Christina Wong, and Kirn Kim. Thanks to our new intern, Jade Faircloth, Danny and Eric at the Podplay Studios, Los Angeles. We are produced by API Rise. You can learn more about our work supporting system-impacted Asian Americans at api-rise.org. You can also follow us for new episodes at killingyournumber.com or on Instagram at Killing Your Number Podcast. Thank you, everybody.